Digital Wonder presents 11 downsides to being an INTJ. Number 1. Difficulty opening up. The strong independent streak of an INTJ is usually seen as a strength, but in some circumstances, this can be a problem. They struggle to open up to people, and at times of need, they can often be reluctant to ask for help or depend on someone. It's difficult for an INTJ to lower down their walls and let others help them. This particularly applies to relationships. They would prefer to suffer and try to manage than call for help or have to rely on someone else. Number 2. They can be judgmental. By default, an INTJ will cast judgment and then ask questions later. If you make a bad first impression on an INTJ, it can be difficult to win them back around. So many opportunities in life could be missed because of this first, sometimes false impression. INTJs, by nature, are observant of all around them. They are intelligent and make snapshot decisions based on the information on hand. The downside to this is if the quantity or the quality of this information isn't there, they can jump to the wrong conclusions about a person. This can cause the INTJ problems at work, particularly with new employees, making new relationships, or even trouble with a family. Number 3. They are critical. INTJs like to critique how other individuals do things. This comes from a confidence that their way is the best way, which often turns out to be true most of the time. If an INTJ sees someone doing a task in the wrong order or doing something inefficiently, it will cause them frustration. It can often be difficult for an INTJ to resist telling someone they're doing things the wrong way. When this crosses the line of being overcritical, it can cause problems, particularly with relationships. Constant nitpicking over trivial matters can easily drive two people apart. This can be one of the challenges of dating an INTJ. If you don't follow their path or standards, it can easily cause friction. They can get caught in the trap of only seeing the drawbacks or flaws to something. They sometimes can get obsessed with finding new ways to make improvements. In particular, loved ones will sometimes just want an INTJ to be proud of their accomplishments rather than wading in with ideas of how they could have done it better. Number 4. They're over-analytical. It's not healthy to analyze every little detail in life. The inflection in someone's voice when they spoke to you, the fact you thought their body language was off today. INTJs look at the information at hand and often draw broad conclusions. This analytical side can be a huge strength in the workplace, but it can be difficult to turn this off and just live life in the moment. Overthinking can push a person into a negative and stressed mindset. With stress, usually anxiety will follow, or vice versa. INTJs can be their own worst enemy in this regard. It can be difficult to let go and to not sweat the small stuff. And this habit can be difficult to turn off even if it hurts them or those around them in the long run. Number 5. They don't follow rules. Not all INTJs break the rules or love breaking them, they just don't blindly follow them. If they feel a rule has no meaning or the reason behind the rule doesn't stack up, they won't follow it or listen to it. This might seem fine, but rules are usually there for a reason. It might just be that the INTJ doesn't fully understand the logic behind those reasons. Rules and laws are set in place for a reason and can most of the time be a good thing for society. Sometimes it can be a good thing to rebel against a law. For example, before 1918, women in the UK didn't have the right to vote. However, if an INTJ is frequently not following rules, it can sometimes get them into trouble. This can be a problem, particularly if you're a manager of an INTJ. It's crucially important that you make them fully understand and agree to the logic behind the rule to get buy-in from them. Number 6. Superiority complex. INTJs usually possess high levels of intellect, reasoning, and logic. They are also supremely confident in their way of life and the ideas they have. This can be a weakness for an INTJ, particularly when they become successful in life. They can sometimes develop a superiority complex. They can come across as condescending or arrogant to some. They may become impatient when they feel someone isn't tuned into their way of thinking. This also ties in with the judgmental and critical traits we discussed earlier. They can also be quite intolerant and short with people who they feel are not making the grade. Number 7. Emotionally distant. INTJs are known for having difficulty recognizing their own emotions and the feelings of others. This is referred to as being low EQ. They prefer to view the world from a logical viewpoint, trusting their intellect over their emotions. They have little time or patience for emotional issues, and they often will struggle to pick up on or respond to the emotional needs of others. This can cause them to struggle with their home life or with interpersonal relationships at work. They can sometimes be perceived as being cold, and this can keep others at arm's length. In extreme circumstances, this can hold them back in the workplace as they might be seen as not being enough of a people person to hold a role. In relationships, this can drive a wedge between two people, particularly if the INTJ was seen as not being there for their partner during a difficult emotional time. Number 8. They're perfectionists. The meticulousness of INTJs can be a huge strength for INTJs, particularly in the workplace. Being fastidious can quickly become a weakness when it becomes excessive and turns into perfectionism. They can be particularly hard on themselves when they feel they have not lived up to their own high standards. This can also be directed at others who they don't feel are delivering to their idea of perfection. If this perfectionism becomes extreme, it can sometimes turn into obsessive-compulsive disorder, also known as OCD. Number 9. Life imbalance. INTJs value their work and are often devoted professionals. This, however, can come at a price, as it can negatively affect the amount of time they have to spend with their family. This prioritization of work can also affect their own downtime for relaxing and recharging themselves. They can easily find that they have caused an imbalance in their lives because their priorities are misplaced. This can cause relationship problems with the other person not feeling valued. The INTJ drive to succeed can certainly pay off in life, but it can sometimes come at the cost of the other factors in their lives. If we don't value the downtime in our lives, it can easily come at the cost of our long-term physical and mental health. Number 10. Introverted to a fault. INTJs tend to be introverted. They don't usually lack confidence in themselves, but they do prefer to work alone and are happy in their own company. They can often miss out on social opportunities because they prefer to stay at home and try to progress some new idea they are working on. This can also cause them to miss out on some of the joys in life. They struggle to live in the moment and don't see the logic in doing something just for the fun of it. They can get trapped into trying to build and plan a perfect world for themselves and miss out on all the opportunities life has to offer. Number 11. Adverse to change. INTJs in some circumstances lack flexibility. They don't like to be spontaneous. They like things to be planned out far in advance. Like a game of chess, they prefer to know what their next move is, often several moves ahead, so they can plan it out. If someone is throwing in last-minute changes or choices at the INTJ, they can become very frustrated. It's not that they don't value change, it's just that they are forward thinkers and often embrace long-term change. It's the unexpected nature of the change they don't like. INTJs like to have structure in their life. They like to get things right and do things their own way. They feel constant change is inefficient and opens yourself up to potential mistakes. Logic has to be at the heart of every decision for an INTJ to be truly happy with it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue to make videos like this. Be sure to check out this playlist of our top videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care!